before you go for work. Abi, na money. Go where your children go chop. Abi, na money. Go property where you your children go take to cross to the cocoa. Na money. Everything abi, na money. I say, people they tell me but I don't believe. Today I believe. But man, you will not be bachelor. Some call where you go catch you for bed. Now wow, everything na money. You go chop, na money. You go sing, na money. You go work out. Now wow, to be husband, mama oh, what you not go do yo. Now wow, to be husband, papa oh, what you not go do yo. Now wow, to be husband, my friend oh, what you not go do yo. Now wow, to be husband, mama oh, what you not go do yo.
Oh, Sammy! Il est pour être marié. Surtout comme un père de ma ça, c'est la musique. Ça, c'est la vie. On diablé dans le mariage, il y a que l'homme et la femme.
To be husband, mama oh, what you not go do yo. Now to be housewife, papa oh, what you not go do yo. Now to be husband, my friend oh, what you not go do yo. Sugar. Now to be husband, mama oh.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to say a big welcome to another great edition of the program, Ashford, Garley Live. On this beautiful Thursday night, as we come to you from Detroit, it's time to broadcast, fun blast, and musical forecast. I know some heard the name, some heard people talk about them. If you have the opportunity tonight, just put the name to the face. How about that? Tonight, British Radio Africa plays host to the chairman of ANC Global. This is WILFRED PASSAWE. Some are still asking questions. Will the CPP hold? Big question. Let's find out. We have several auxiliary groups based here in the diaspora and other parts of the world. Are they all together? Get your questions ready as we come to you tonight from Detroit. And with that said, as always, I want to visit Information Highway, where Mrs. Letty Brooks Rabbits is standing by as always to fill us in. Mrs. Rabbits, the microphone is all yours.
Good evening, Mr. Garley. How are you?
Good. Too blessed to be stressed, as always.
Wonderful. You're looking good.
And smelling good.
Awesome. Well, good evening and welcome to another thankful Thursday edition of Bridge TV Africa with your host, Ashford, the Giant Garley. Tonight, we welcome you to the end of another beautiful week. As we end this week, we want to say congratulations to all of our celebrants. But before I say go to the specific celebrant, I want you to know that we're coming to you from three major platforms. We're coming from Facebook Live, aka Bridge TV Africa, YouTube, and also bridgeradioafrica.com. Thank you for choosing Bridge TV as your choice of information and entertainment. We ask that you please share the show, as your friends are not our friends. And as he has already told you, we have a special guest for you this evening and a lot of information. Again, please be respectful of one another and please be respectful of our host. Most importantly, please be respectful of our guests. Please subscribe to Bridge TV Africa for more information and entertainment. Tonight, we would like to say congratulations to the newest high schooler in town. That's Ashford Garley Jr., the future announcer / entrepreneur. Your father has a big shoe for you to fill, my dear. Greetings from your parents, siblings, and the family of Bridge TV Africa. Ashford Garley Jr., the newest high schooler in town. Congratulations to you and all of class of 2020. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Thank you again, folks. That's the voice of Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts, and on behalf of the family, I also want to say congratulations to Ashford Garley Jr. as he enters the walls of high school. He goes to the 9th grade, and we had the opportunity today to attend the ceremonies via Zoom. And I'm proud of my son, congratulations, little boy, and keep your head up. And let us show hope that you follow your dream. Okay, your older sister went to Michigan State University. She graduated. And I'm pretty sure you're going to do the same. Again, we want to go back to Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts as she reads out a few comments before we introduce our guest, Mrs. Roberts.
Definitely. So we have trending right now. Miss Agatha Allison is watching. We have Garment Cooper in the building. Good evening, everyone. She's been away for a minute. We have Natalie Pritchett watching. Carl Pennell, he says, I am watching. We have Dr. George Toto in the building. Also, Beku Rowe. Hi, the giant. Our $7+ million have disappeared. Hey, Allah, God help us. Priscilla Kume Myers. Hi, Ashford. Hope the family is doing good. Ms. Sawyer is also dancing with you, Mr. Garley. Madinyen Jabate. Another day again. Manadi Sun says, the giant. Juanita Say is watching from the Garden State. Les Sampong Batu. CPP strong, he says. Bless Sampong. ANC strong. Bless Sampong. Hello to all. Jerome Roberts. Where is my Ashford, Miss Angel? We have Bless Sampong Batu again. Where is my able chairman? Juanita Say, I'm watching. Tamba Kanusu, Liberia problem never ends. Josephine Tozer, the giant himself, super show. Verbus Fasilifu says, congratulations, Ashford Jr. Valley Kamara, hi. Indigenous Adi, you are echoing Tanik. That's a unique word. Henry PASSAWE. Good evening, family. And we have Howard Numa in the house. Mr. Garley, please let these people know. Please make yourselves comfortable. Get your meal of choice or your drink of choice because Mr. Garley is about to make his performance known. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Garley.
Okay, thank you. Again, folks, don't be selfish. Don't just enjoy the show alone. Invite a few friends so that we can all have a great time tonight. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, again, Samaria, Neiman, Henry Passaway, Idatus, that's editors added, Valley Kamara, how do we sound now? Are we still echoing? Stanik is in the building. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome our special guest tonight. And as always, I'd like to introduce him to you. Please join me as we welcome Mr. WILFRED PASSAWE. Mr. Passawe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashford. It's a pleasure being here with you again.
Okay, I believe this should be the third time since you visit British Radio.
Indeed, yes. Yeah.
Now, for the sake of the audience, Mr. Passawe, who is WILFRED PASSAWE? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm the chairman of ANC Global. I grew up in Bummy Hills. I'm a boy from way back there. Came to Monrovia, went to CWA for 2 years. Went back to Bummy Hills and graduated from CH2A. And worked at a bank. Came back, worked at an insurance company, and then worked with David Vinton, the Magus Investment Corporation, and then came abroad for school. And I've been here, have a wife and 3 daughters. I live in Woodbridge, Virginia, and I'm in and out of Liberia like twice a year. I have some property and business interests in Monrovia. And it's a pleasure being on your show. And again, always enticing and introspective as we have these discussions.
Okay, folks, again, that's the voice of Mr. Passawe. Now, let us just go straight into the point. I've heard about the ANC USA, the ANC Midwest, now ANC Global, of which you are the chairman. Are all these legitimate auxiliaries of ANC in Liberia? If not, how are they different from the ANC Global? And why not just one ANC, especially since all of these groups are in the US?
Well, first, let me thank you and Eloise, congratulate you and your junior for the successful completion of his transition into the next level of education. So that's a very wonderful thing. We have, like many institutions, every time you have an event, major event, you go through and do a post-mortem. The Alternative National Congress, after the 2017 elections, did a post-mortem after event review to understand how we performed and why we performed the way we did. And in the process, we identified a few things that were critical to making sure that we correct the things we didn't do properly or didn't do right, and to enhance the things we did okay. One of those things was the need to have a single integrated global organization, support organization. Now, you know, your audience certainly know that the party is in Liberia. The party is not in the diaspora, but you have many Liberians in the diaspora who provide support through mobilization, strategic support, and financial support. More importantly, financial support. So we recognize also that if you have disparate organizations without a singular focus on messaging, on membership mobilization, you find yourself wasting resources and being very inefficient in the disbursement of your resources, and also being less effective in your mobilization and other activities. We saw that firsthand in 2017. There were very good intentions. Many of the organizations, supporting organizations, had very good intentions, but you will find that there were some instances where one group is supporting a county, and also another group going to the same county or to a district in the same general area. What that did, of course, was it took resources and power resources into one single location, which was very inefficient and ineffective, as opposed to identifying the critical areas around the country that we needed support, and we go align those support within the general strategic plan. So the party agreed that they needed one central support global diaspora support organization, and ANC Global was stood up, formally stood up in June. We went through a series of processes to get to our June launch. We had that launch successfully in Atlanta, Georgia. And then after that, we developed the papers, formal bylaws and stuff, and we went to Dallas, Texas, to have the general meeting and elections. And then after that, we started functioning, raising funds and doing outreach. So there are many, we don't like to address this as multiple situations or multiple organizations instead of one. The party has recognized ANC Global as a single global organization to mobilize support. We cannot tell people who are enthusiastic or passionate about supporting Liberia not to do what they want to do. There's a freedom of association or whatever. But this is the formal official support organization for ANC in the diaspora. And we encourage, there are many people from many of the organizations who have come on board. We're not in any conflict. Let me be very clear. We're not having any issue of conflict, because if you have conflict, then there's something controversy. There's nothing controversy here. ANC Global is the primary focus, recognized organization to support the party in the diaspora. There are members who want to do other things, and they have engaged in maintaining some other activities. But singularly, ANC Global is the support organization, and many members from those organizations have also joined ANC Global. So we are very excited. We are growing, and we definitely look forward to, hopefully, we will have this coronavirus thing behind us. So we had anticipated a very event-packed year. We had developed a plan for multiple events around the country. Unfortunately, with the coronavirus pandemic, we couldn't do any of those things, but we've been doing some small online fundraisers and events. So yeah, this is the status of ANC Global, and we are growing. We're very excited. We're making a lot of headway in all key sectors and all key areas.
Mr. PASSAWE, you and a host of people were very active with the ANC, as a matter of fact, a few years ago. And I see you still are, okay? And one of those that comes to mind is Kwame Clement. He played a very pivotal role in ANC during the early stage of this organization. But now he has gone very quiet nowadays. Is he still involved within the party? If so, to what extent?
I know Mr. Clement has been very, he works in Monrovia. He has not been active with ANC Global. I don't know the extent of his involvement with the party in Monrovia. But yes, you're correct. There were a few of us who started ANC USA 2012, and he was one of the key members, one of the founding members, very, very influential member, and one of the key supporters. There were three of us, and I'm very proud to say there were three of Dr. Elliott, myself, and Kwame. The three of us contributed about 55% of the total funding for the party. So yes, Mr. Clement was a very instrumental member at the inception of ANC Global, and one of the first persons to, he and I had the first conversation when he was approached by ANC to get involved and support the party. I don't know the extent of his involvement with the party in Monrovia, but he's not involved, he's not active with the ANC Global.
Now, one of the criticisms, okay, that I heard about the ANC partisans, especially on social media here in the United States, is that a good number of their supporters, certainly not all of them, are arrogant, very combative in dealing with criticisms, and not tolerant in dissenting views. Do you believe that to be the case? If so, how do you think the leadership of the ANC can mitigate such behavior since it has the propensity to alienate people from the party?
Ashford, I will put the question a little differently, but I will answer it. We have people who are very passionate about Liberia. And some of us are also or equally as passionate, but we have different ways of showing our passion. Some people go online, go social media, and express themselves very, very passionately, and that's politics. It's a rough and tumble sport. Some of us don't do it because we don't know how to do that. It's not part of our personality. But I would say this though: this is not just an ANC partisan situation or issue. I think there are many, if not most, Liberians in the diaspora. There are things they see and they think the way things should be. And that's understandably that frustration with things not working right sometimes get the better of them. And they tend to be exercised and excited, and they go out and say things. But we don't consider them as issues or problems. What we do recognize and we address from time to time is that there's sometimes you have members who are very anxious to want to see results or see action in specific cases. You find that across the spectrum, all over, not just ANC. And what we try to do is remind them that those things do take time. They have to be thought out. The response, in many cases, if there's a national issue, what is the party doing about it? Why are you guys not acting now? Those things require thoughtful reflection. And the leadership in Monrovia is very much on top of these things. We don't pretend that we have all the answers, and we don't pretend that we are always right. But what we recognize and what we think we do very well is that we take issues and we have deliberations, even if just minimal deliberation. But these types of issues require introspection. You have leadership discussion, the party political leader, the executive committee members, and chairman. And then sometimes they pull us in. We have these conversations, and then the decisions arrived at. We think that if you took that approach, more often than not, the outcome will be a better result than rapid firing. You know, everything in Liberia, almost people want you to say something or take some action about or against. That is beautiful, sexy, and something you can do and make yourself feel good. But one has to be rational. One has to be thoughtful, has to put things in perspective. And so again, whether or not members are rude, I wouldn't call them rude. I would say they are passionate because everybody who's on social media, and not just the ANC, the people in the other party, they do the same thing. But we have thick skin, you know. Like people have said a lot of things about me, and I don't spend time on that. I don't go in the mud. I move on. So again, that's how I would put it. And for the most part, I think they're very passionate, but we tend to remind them that action would require deliberative and thoughtful discussions.
Colonel Raymond Gray was on my show about a few weeks ago, and he was once a strong member, okay, of the ANC, very supportive and enthusiastic. Now, and he supported the ideas, with the ANC and all that good stuff. Now he had decided to play the neutral posture within the media. Have you reached out to find out from Reverend Conor Gray as to why?
No, Why would I reach out to him? Everybody who is a member has a right to decide to stay or go. I mean, this is.
He was one of the founding members.
Well, yes. I mean, look around. Just stop Ashford for a moment and look around. People switch parties, even here in the United States. People were Democrat, then they became Republican, then they became Democrat. This is a freedom of association. You have a right to, even if political parties are not private property, because your founding member does not give you any extra right than people who came later on. Let's be clear about that. So if people came after you and they took the mantle, and for some reason you choose to go in because you don't like what you're doing, at the end of the day, the majority will rule. That's a fundamental tenet of the political party, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if somebody started something, they knew what it started, they believe in it, then later on they decide they don't like it because of people who came out with the ideas, they have a right to leave. And if you say you want to try to bring everybody back, we got more people who came in than left. Let's put it that way. So, I mean, we don't, that's too much energy. Why would we spend energy in that direction?
But Mr. Passawe, in this case, Mr. Great is not a part of any political party. He decided to step back and play the neutral. Well, don't you think, for the sake of the party and some of the things that he brings to the table, it required that you talk to him to ask him why did he leave in the first place?
Ashford, I would not say anything to impugn the character of anyone or to attack anyone, Mr. Gray included. I don't spend time in that space. It's not part of my persona. What I will tell you is we have to be rational and realistic. Indeed, there are many people who started ANC with us, ANC USA. Many of them, they are inactive. They are supporters, but they are inactive. There are people who were in the vanguard in the beginning who were very active. They're still supported every now and then. They send a little contribution to help for fundraiser, but they're not active, and that's fine. So if we were, I'm saying this with all due respect, we have more members over the last year. I was chairman of ANC USA, and I know the excitement we had with people when we started. I have all the facts, and we did a great job. We were able to support the party, and everybody who participated did a great thing, and we appreciated that. But this is part of life, and there's nothing wrong with people leaving, choosing to want to come back. If we were not where we are, because if we were not in the position where people could see the value proposition that we represent and coming on board, then your question would be, well, don't you think you're not faring well, so you need to rethink or go bring people? That would be the kind of conversation I think that would make, in my view, that would be something we would want to countenance. But as things are, we are fine. And those who left for whatever reasons, I don't have a right to go ask somebody why you left or come back. And what if they don't want to come back and they have a right not to want to come back? That's okay. We're fine. We're very fine. I can guarantee you that.
Now, let me ask you this. And now, if the ANC, all right, cannot be seen as reconciling, all right, among its members here in the U.S., don't you think that some could see it as leadership failure? And if it's so, how confident should the Liberian people be in having you to lead them, especially when we have a divided country in terms of politics?
Ashford, show me one library organization, one library organization that hola. One. Every library organization that one small group will come, they say, we like this one, we like that one. And that's okay. My point here is we have not lost sleep. I'll be very honest with you. And go do your own assessment. We have not lost sleep about where we are. There will always be people who will want to do things differently, and those things will be in line with what the majority wants, and they will choose to leave. Some people would say things. I would never say things that that don't have to be said outside. Everybody has a right to privacy. We have personal conversations in all of our daily lives, and those things are the purview of the participant. I don't need to try to score point by trying to say anything that does not move the conversation. I can tell you definitively that we have never gone into a situation where we are at a loggerhead with folks and we disagree. We made positions. The party made a decision. We develop a new way of going forward. There are some people who stayed, some people came, and some people chose not to come on board, and that's right. But where we are going is the direction that the party has signed off on, and all our leaders, all our members have agreed. That's the direction for the maximum outcome and benefit of the party and the organization, and we're comfortable with that. Because it's not locked in. If we were tussling about anything, then people say, well, wait a minute, does this internal squabble? No, there's none. We are moving there. People will frame it. People, of course, will frame it the way they want to frame it. And they will say that I do not go in that space, as I told you from the beginning. That's not my forte. I don't get there because the facts, the evidence, everything I'm telling you is out there in the public space, in public domain. How we doing, what we did before, it's all in the public space, in the public domain. ANC Global is registered with the U.S. Department of Justice, National Security Division, and a FARA. So all of our bylaws, our members, our leaders, everything is reported. It's above board. So there's nothing here we are particularly concerned about, be honest with you.
Now, speaking of lock-in, let's go to the CPP for a minute. And I have this for you. If the CPP document is a framework for all of the collaborating political parties to work together with the possibility of merging at some point in time, why are the individual parties, the ANC, the LP, the ALP, and the Unity Party operating independently during this arrangement? Wouldn't that undermine the cohesiveness of the group? Each party may have its own interest. If that is not the case, why not all work together as a single unit?
Okay, let me parse that question because I think there's something that need clarification.
Okay.
The framework did not define a merger. There's a big difference. It's not, we didn't match or merge the four parties into one organization. They agreed to collaborate, to work together. In that process, they all retain their individual structure and organizational status. So it's not contradictory. In fact, what they have done is to lay out the specific objective of the CPP, those areas that they agreed to work jointly together. And the membership, fundraising, those are individual things that the parties would do. And the party still has this right to go about and do whatever the political party does. But there are things that they've laid out as a collaborating political party group to work towards. And those things are defined in the document, in the framework. So there's no contradiction here.
Mr. Cummins, who serves as the chair of the CPP, happens to be the political leader of the ANC, which is the party that you represent. A few weeks ago said that the CPP framework document that was issued and created so much resentment pertaining to a number of the provisions was the wrong copy of the final drafts. It was saying to me then that there was another draft available which was more indicative of a comprehensive framework document. So why not just publish the correct one right away? Could it that be that the CPP actually blundered and having to rework or fine-tune the framework document instead of just saying that it was a wrong draft that was leaked out?
I don't know if they are hiding anything. I don't think that anybody who says that has a good understanding of the circumstances. There were 4 political parties. There was a technical working group. Then you have the 4 political leaders. There were multiple iterations of the document. And anybody who has, again, you've done business anywhere, you know that sometimes you have these things mixed up. You know, if you don't have good, tight document control, you can have version control. You can have the wrong version come out the wrong place. So if 3 or 4 people working on the document provide edits, and then they cross and they don't do a tight correlation or tight management of that process, you could have the one person running one version that is not the final updated version. So I can tell you for a fact there were over 8 or 9 different versions from the beginning to the end. So I don't know why anyone would think that they would say it's not the right version when it's the right version. It makes no sense. That is the truth. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not part of the technical working group, but I have been involved in conversation with the leaders, and I have seen some of the document. And I know for sure that the document they intended to put out will be put out, the correct document. I don't think that's where we would waste a lot of energy, because even in the worst case, let's assume there will be some other things people will find in the final document. And the final document, this is a living document. It's an agreed framework, but from time to time, the leaders the organization will have the need to revisit some of the provision. For every circumstance, every situation that they identify, they have planned for the events that unfold may dictate an adjustment. That's the reality of these things. So again, we shouldn't be surprised if they come back and say we're going to do version 1.1 or 1.2 or 2.0. That is something that is anticipated, and they made it clear even in the very document that from time to time it could be updated. So no, I don't give any credence that comment. I think when the adjustments or the correct document is ready, I think they will do proper due diligence and they'll put it out. So that's not a secret document intended for the closet.
Now, and that brings me to this question. Do you think Alexander Cummings is the best person to represent the CPP? If so, what makes him different from the Boycott, the Uri, and the Kanga Lawrence?
Those are all honorable leaders, distinguished leaders. I think it would be wrong to make any inference that indicates one is better than the other, per se. What I would tell you, I can tell you about the man Alexander B. Cummings. And I can tell you why I believe, and many of the other hundreds of thousands of supporters believe, that he is the right candidate or should be the right candidate for the next round in Liberia. This is a man who came from nowhere. He didn't come from a money family. He didn't come from a prominent family. In a small West African country, and he came to the United States after graduate school. He found himself in a very competitive environment. Anybody who has lived and worked in Europe or America or anywhere else where you have large structure organization knows that to find your way through those organizations to be competitive and successful, you have to be at the top of your capacity, your capability, and your expertise. You cannot do it by winking or by being, nice. The organization are built around results. Ultimately, these are all private. They are not public corporation, public organization. They are private, profit-driven organization. So the shareholder value is the driving principle, the driving force. So if you're not able to maximize results and get the kind of returns, or you're not able to support the organization to enable the organization to get those returns, you are not going to be promoted or rise to the top. So Mr. Cummings did that successfully. And to give you an example, he came out and he rose to the top, to the third highest position, Executive Vice President, Chief Administrative Officer, managing a budget of over $1 billion, with all core critical support functions, legal, accounting, information technology, marketing, all falling within his portfolio. What did he do? He grew the company, successfully grew in fact, when we talk about the 9 years he ran Coca-Cola Africa, they recognized that one of the fastest growth period while he ran that, 56 countries. He oversaw the program, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in revenue, and thousands, tens of thousands of employees. And what did he do with that? He's helped to stand up the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation. And since 2001, the Coca-Cola African Foundation has given out over $100 million in grant and support aid to different local organizations, focusing on health, education. So he's not, people always say, well, okay, what he did was the private sector, what we're talking about government. You know, when people say that, I like to remind them that what is the objective? Are you suggesting that somebody who ran a complex organization, multi-layer, multi-geographies, very large and complex, is not able to run an organization, a government, in the executive branch with less than 30, 40,000, even there were 50,000 employees? And that person now, you're questioning their competency or their capability based on the fact that this is separate. When you work in the corporate sector, you have a board of directors, just like you have in the House and the Senate. You have to perform. You have to report to them. In fact, even more difficult in the private sector because you don't have much wiggle room. Like in the government, they have many wiggle room. They can do all kinds of things, and you can't really measure performance. You can't do that in the private sector. So if somebody has been successful in meeting plans, objectives, and results over a 20, 30-year period, I would be very, very surprised of anybody who would tell you they will question that person's ability to go and run a country in a small and a complex and difficult, with all the difficulties like Liberia. A good program manager, Liberia is a country in crisis. What you need is a good program manager. Because if you had a good program manager, the first thing you would do a complete assessment of where things stand. And then you find a corrective action plan. That in our case would be a strategic long-term development plan. It's not difficult. The problem in Liberia, everybody knows it. These are not new ideas. The simplicity of Liberian situation is that you can look here, you see the poor people, our people struggling, they got no money, no jobs, no food. Then you look on the left side, you see a few politicians. Every day they're going abroad, they got all their family abroad. So your answer right there, you can see the two extremes. So the question is, how can we move our people from this marginalized environment to an environment where, if not the top, in the middle, where the quality of life will improve? But you have to define the plan. There are two things you need. You need a vision, and you need the political will to execute the vision. That's all you need. Vision, that comes in the way of a plan. It has to be a sustainable plan. It's not just a plan like you're doing, right, dissertation, then you put all the numbers, you throw, no, they're not. A sustainable plan must take into consideration the idiosyncrasies of our society, our people, the way they are, the challenges in the society, in the communities, how we manage. You can't just say, I'm going to put toll road, and then I will make toll, and then the toll will add to revenue. They're not sustainable plan. So in a nutshell, you bring somebody who has the expertise, the experience, the political will, and the vision. And I am very convinced, without questioning anyone else's qualification and capability. I know Alexander B. Cummings. I can say definitively, without a question, Liberia is a project in crisis, and we need a good program manager, project manager, program manager who has the track record of moving a major organization forward. That's my man, Alexander B. Cummings.
I understand that you are already convinced. Okay. Now, do you think that the ANC will be a serious force to reckon with without the CPP or any other political alliances?
I don't think any party doesn't have to be the CPP. If you're a student of politics, look at the current dynamics and you ask yourself, how best can you be competitive against the entrenched incumbent government? If you go and split up the vote, or you split up your allegiances to say you will go this block, every time you split up, you create a better chance for the incumbent because they have control over resources. They have all the major offices, and they are the ones calling the shot for the most part. So we know we can overwhelm them with numbers. So yes, the CPP didn't come together just because the four leaders just thought it was good to meet every Friday and drink beer. No, they sat down, had thoughtful, introspective discussions thought about what the best way forward. They realized that they have a lot in common that they don't have together. And they agreed that, look, if we pool our resources, if we come together, because we want the same thing, a better Liberia, we have to be able to work that framework out. At the end, we have one candidate, one ticket that we all can support. And this applies to all the open slots in the senatorial race and applies to the presidential race. So to answer your question, I don't think any reasonable person will think that they stand up, any party by itself singularly will be in a better position to win the CDC if we don't stick together. I think that's it's almost self-evident in my view.
Okay, with that said, folks, I believe we've come to the end of our first segment, and I want to open up the telephone line now so that we can call in and ask Mr. PASSAWE some questions if you have them. And with that said, I want to go back to Information Highway where Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts is standing by to read out a few comments as we listen to hearing from those who have questions for Mr. PASSAWE. Mrs. Roberts.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garley. Good evening, Mr. PASSAWE.
Yes, Mrs. Roberts.
Okay, trending we have Ms. Bless Sumper, CPP strong, ANC strong. Hello to all. Jerome Roberts, here's my Ashford Miss Angel. I think that's a confusing question. Bless Sumper Batu right. Where is my able chairman? Juanita say I'm watching. We have Editus Adi. You are echoing. That was earlier. Sorry. Samaria Nima. The CPP will surely succeed. Bless Sampron Batu. The giant. Please borrow us your GPS. We are spending 52,000 plus for GPS to travel to the rural areas. We have Ms. Hawa Meska in the house. James S. Kamara, the giant of our time. Bless Sampron Batu, my able chairman. Then we have from May Sawyer, she writes, Wilfred, are you related to the late father passed away from the Episcopal Church? Duke Estrada JJ writes, great job, chairman. May Sawyer, my brother Duke, don't laugh at all with people. We have Samantha John watching. Papi Kava, he says, hi, y'all. Steve Boley, this was a good question. The chairman is answering the question very strategically. maturely and professionally as well. May Sawyer replying to May, but he's still my good brother. Gloria Watt is watching. May Sawyer replies to May, Duke, you forced to laugh with me because we're family. I'm your sister, you and Emmerich. Tell Cole, freedom to associate and disassociate. Oh, we have from Duke JJ, great response, Chairman. Tell Cole, everyone that started a church doesn't always stay there. Selma Scott, passionate. If passion is seen as arrogant, then there's a problem. Mary Sawyer, everyone who left aren't ready for life. Pam Zawiya is in the building on his private jet. Welcome.
As always.
Zawiya.
As always.
Howard Sony. Hi, Mr. Garley. We have Bob K. Boley Jr. watching. Howard Sony again. I'm watching from Minnesota. Mary Sawyer, tell me about it. Ali David McYakiman, we want Cummins as president and Costa as VP. New wine in new bottle. New wine in new bottle. May Sawyer replying to Ali, Costa told you guys that he's not ready to be president in Liberia. Please. Duke JJ, great response. We have Michi Richards Hubbard in the building. Prince Welligini in the building. Steve Boley writes, this chairman, oh, wise like him or not, he is answering questions as leader and strategically. Letty Brooks Roberts, congratulations, class of 2020. And of course, to our own Ashford H. Garley Jr., the newest high schooler in town.
2 more comments, please.
Elder James C. Blythe Jr. writes, say it again, one who successfully managed a world organization can do the same with a government. So, surprising that folks have problem with such. We have George P. Lobo in the house. Selma Scott writes, I see the arrogance in you, sir. Don't you know that when people of different backgrounds and originations come together?
One more comment, please.
Okay, this is a long one. Don't you know when people of different orientation come together, conflict is inevitable. It's therefore your responsibility to inquire when people leave or drift away from your party. Leadership is the ability to influence people to follow you. Is this how you are doing? Is this how you are going to lead? When people leave, you don't care to know why?
Thank you. And
okay.
again, folks, this is Bridge Radio Africa. Tonight we have with us Mr. WILFRED PASSAWE, who is the chairman of the ANC Global. The telephone number to call is 248-979-1718. Please be respectful of our guests. Refrain from profanities. We would not condone that here tonight. There's a way to disagree without being abusive. Okay, they have other platforms that condone that nonsense, but we don't do that yet at Bridge Radio Africa. With that said, I want to go to the telephone line. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
How you doing?
Good. Tell us your name, sir.
My name is Calabo Gonglo.
Welcome to the
calling
show.
From Pennsylvania.
Okay, welcome to the show. The chairman is listening to you.
All right. I just have a simple question for Mr. PASSAWE. I hope Mr. PASSAWE still remembers Calabo Gonglo, who was the chair of the Constitution Review Committee for ANC USA. My question for him is, why ANC Global? Why are we having ANC Global as opposed to ANC USA? Why? And can he also explain how Mr. Cummings took over the ANC in violation of the ANC Constitution?
Thank you, Mr. Gonglo.
Mr. Gonglo, how would I forget you? I can't forget you. Kobo Gonglo, I can't forget you. I remember you very vividly. You're asking me to answer two questions: why ANC Global and why not ANC USA? You're also asking how Mr. Cummings took over the party. The second question is, the premise of the question is not correct. So Mr. Cummings did not take over ANC. Mr. Cummings did not come to ANC and post himself and he said he wasn't going to do any, his way or the highway. I will give you one example because I think it's instructive sometimes to remind some people, and that it's not a bad question, they're valid questions. Here in the United States, Ron Paul from Kentucky wanted to run for the presidency while he was senator. And the Republican Party bylaws or guidelines restricted that because he had to give up his seat. This is on the internet, you can Google it and you find out, you verify what I'm telling you. And the party needed him because he was a strong candidate to keep that seat in Kentucky. They also recognized that it would make sense for him to also try his hand in the ring to go forward to compete for the presidency. What did they do? The leadership, following the legal process allowed for in their constitution, they modified the constitution. They changed it. They made a change to allow Senator Ron Paul to be able to run while he retained his seat in the Senate. I'm telling you that because it's very instructive.
Good morning.
Politics.
Hold on. We'll get to you. Somebody is speaking. I beg you. Hold on. I will get.
Politics, like many other things, is about winning. The decision as who your candidate will be is taken to the people, and they usually will want to put the strongest person. So those are things that people would do. Ron Paul didn't go and force himself and say, "You'll do it." They decided to do it because it was in the best interest of the party and the best interest of the state. So I say it to explain to you that Mr. Cummings did not bulldoze his way to anything. He did not force anything. The party, the leadership recognized that he was a very strong candidate and it was a great opportunity for the party and for him. We went and encouraged him to join us. So let's dispense with that promptly. The issue of I think I explained that. I think I explained at the beginning that after the election in 2017, we did a postmortem. And I think I explained that the rationale for bringing everybody together, we needed one organization. So I think that pretty much explains why we started ANC Global.
And I think Gonglo has a follow-up question. Gonglo, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Or comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
He's still speaking.
No, I'm done. Go ahead. I'll listen to you.
So
yeah, it's not really a follow-up. Maybe it's comment/question. I listened to Mr. PASSAWE, but the scenario he's giving for Ron Paul in the Republican Party, I don't know how it fits in here. The ANC Constitution has specific provision on how people will ascend to any position within the party. It has specific provision how articles of the Constitution will be amended. In fact, the Constitution is very clear that there will be no such thing as political leader. You contest in the election, you don't win, you are not a step bearer. There will only be party executives that will continue to manage the affairs of the political party. just as the Democratic Party or the Republican Party is. The only political party in Liberia then that made sure that primary will be the foundation of getting leadership in the party. But not Mr. Comey, Mr. PASSAWE, and Mr. Kwame Clement, for some reason, decided to violate the constitution of our party along with Mr. Comey. That is why he needs to explain, then to compare that with Rand Paul. My knowledge of the ANC constitution, I was the chair of the review committee. I know what I'm talking about. You cannot pinpoint any position that you use. How did you change the constitution?
No. Let me correct you. Let me correct you for the record. Let me correct you. Let me correct you for the record, because I don't want you to leave the impression with the audience. You were not chairman of the ANC Liberia Constitution. Let's establish that.
No.
Let's establish that. You're talking about the ANC USA Constitution. That's what you're talking about, right? So let's establish that. ANC USA does not control the party in Liberia. It's not the party. So what I'm talking about is the party in Liberia. So your reference to the party, to the ANC USA Constitution, has no bearing on ANC Liberia. So let's establish that. Don't leave the impression with the audience.
That is not true.
Mr. Garley,
what's not true?
Can somebody call to, they comment?
Say that again, Gonglo?
That is not true. Richard Gu, the Chairman Gu, was on this dialogue.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I will bring you in.
This constitution
hold on, Gonglo. Gonglo, hold on 1 minute. Sir,
okay, let me.
I'll bring you in when it's your time to speak.
I will say this, and I will leave.
The USA Liberia was the same.
No. Let me say this.
In the Liberian article that was in contravention of the Liberian Constitution.
Let me say this, and I'll move off this subject because I don't know if we'll make much headway here. Mr. Gonglo was one of those members when we started ANC USA in September 2012 in Maryland. And he was the head of, we asked him to lead the Constitution Committee. That has no bearing on the party constitution in Liberia. Let's establish that. ANC Liberia was established before ANC USA. So there's no bearing. Let's establish that. We in ANC USA did not decide who became the party standard bearer. The party constitution in Liberia controlled that. So my point on this matter was Mr. Cummings didn't come in and force himself in. Let's establish that. There were legal process that the party constitution allows for. The membership, the leadership went through that process. And so I'm not sure how much this whole argument about the constitution of ANC USA has to do with the ANC Liberia. I wouldn't want to dwell on this. If Gonglo, you want to talk about this, and you have to reach me, we can talk, but there's no correlation, no bearing on the constitution of ANC USA and the party. They are two separate organizations. And let's establish that there's no conflict there. I don't know how this becomes an issue.
Thank you. Okay, we have 614. This is the area code. The last 4 digits of your number, 9459. Tell us your name.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Garley. And good morning to your studio guest, Mr.
Please
Patrick.
tell us your name and where do you join us from tonight or this morning?
Yeah, I'm Bernard. I'm calling from Australia. Bernard.
Okay, welcome to the show.
I got a question for the studio guest, Mr. PASSAWE, or advice. Mr. PASSAWE, please, say you are one of the executives for the AMC, and I want you to please convey on your leader, Mr. Comey, to please back up a little bit about the candidate he's trying to put forward in Lima County, the Thai one-way man. That guy, he is not knowing. You see, either Gongo has started the groundwork against Prince Johnson one or two occasions. She is well known in our county now. It would be better the 15 counties at least coming put somebody in a different candidate there. But that lady already, she is knowing. So please, because if you do that, if Mr. Comey try to force that man, then that means CPP or COP, they will lose the whole place. They will lose the county to CDC. It's just an ordinary advice from my own area. Because at least if we got a strong candidate like Ide Gongo, when she win, it will be all right for the 2023. But if you just bring us, that man is a stranger. Please, I want you to convey on Alexander Comey so he can not to put that guy to that place. He can choose another county and like Basel or Nimba. I mean, let's say Maryland, Maserado, or Lofa, and put ANC candidate there instead of Nimba County. That's my advice. I don't want the whole organization to disintegrate, because if we do that, there will be disunity in the CPP. The woman is well established in the place. Either Congo. Then you want to bring somebody who to come contest. Prince Johnson time is finished. The people are fed up with Prince Johnson. So let either Congo be the candidate for the full political party in Nimba County. That's my advice. I don't want to go forward. I don't want to go come behind. So you are one of the executives or the ANC. Please advise Honorable Comey to back up. Thank you very much, Garley, for giving me this time.
Okay, and just before you respond to him, Mr. PASSAWE, I want to say this. Somebody, said to me last night, you have to protect your guests, all your guests. And I listened to the person. So tonight I said, please be respectful. I'll stop using profanity. There's a way to address yourself to the guests without being abusive. And now the person is attacking me, saying, why didn't you do that last night? I listened to your advice. I said, let us protect our guests. And now you were saying now I am a Comey supporter? Come on, man. The Liberian people.
Well, that's
Go ahead.
The gentleman. I know that's one of the challenges. We got a lot of things we still have to work on. But the gentleman has his view, and I respect his view. But the party has since been marshaling in this direction, and we have no reason to back off where we have been headed. Tawongwe is the person we have been. He's been doing a lot of work over the last 2 years, 3 years in Nimba, and that process has been ongoing, has in fact been intensifying. So we're confident that he's a very strong candidate, and he will. And the same thing they said about Darius DeLong in Maserado. There were a lot of people who were saying, "Oh, Darius, people will not vote for Darius. Who Darius there? He's just there." What did he do? He swept the place because his message, his character. People watch him, they listen to him, they saw what he represented. The electorate is not dumb. The Liberian people are not stupid. They've seen people, you get a burger ready, we eat it. And I'll tell them, anybody get burger, eat a burger, you're hungry, eat a burger right. When you go vote, you're alone in that booth, you decide based on your own best judgment who the person you're voting for. I don't think the days of saying, I grab you because we're from the same clan, where I put everybody together, we just go to the plane. You will still have some of that. We can't dispute that. But more and more, our people are being sensitive to the fact that they see what happens when politicians come. As soon as they put in the next thing, they pop by in the tinted windshield car and flag dirty water on them. People are learning, they know better. They got children in school, they got relatives who are educated. So they're telling them, no, this person, yeah, he may or she may come and say a whole lot of good things, but we have seen the track record and we know who the best candidate. So I don't lose sleep over whether or not this fine. But we don't believe the people who will make the final determination are dumb. We don't believe that they're not watchful, they're not observing. So we're confident. That's how I'll leave that.
Now, okay, the telephone number is 248-979. If you look right underneath me, that you see the telephone number 248-979-1718. And of course, you can call to ask Mr. PASSAWE your question. Mr. PASSAWE, what is ANC Global Strategy in terms of recruitment? Okay, and if so, tell us about your testimonials. What are some of the accomplishments in terms of your recruitment for ANC?
Thank you, Ashford. We think it's simple. You know, when I say simple, it doesn't mean it doesn't require a lot of hard work. It's simple because you'll be asking people, just like you would normally do in any environment. You would not just say, oh, okay, vote for this person because this person is the best candidate. You ask them the basic questions. How do you think life is? Why you think the government is doing well? How you think people are faring compared to what we were before? So what do you think you want to see, and how do you best determine who will be able to give you that? You ask those questions, then you begin to tell them the background of the person you're supporting. We don't pretend that we have all the answers, no. But you can see his work, his life's work. The records are there. You Google him. You can talk to people who have worked for him. You can see around the world, the places he has worked, people he still has a lot of accolade and respect. Many of the presidents in Africa who are still around, many of the politicians, when he was head of, in 2001 to 2008, when he was head of Coca-Cola Africa, he had many friends in Nigeria, South Africa, and those places. And you get testimonial from those people. So we use his work, we use what he has accomplished, and let people see and introduce him to them through the things he has done, not what he says. Because, you know, the best predictor of future performance and future behavior is past performance and past behavior. So we think that's a better selling point. And besides that, you know, Ashford, the average person wants betterment for their family. The average person, the average Liberian doesn't want to be a millionaire, doesn't want to be rich. You ask the average Liberian, they want to be able to buy food for their family, have a place to stay, and buy clothes, and put their kids in school, and be healthy. From that point on, then they can begin to pursue the aspirational issues. I want a car, then I want a vacation. But those are the things that, you know, the Maslow hierarchy of needs, those are the things that are at the very top. They want the basic, the fundamental. The food, clothing, and shelter. That's what they start with. And we think that there's so much in Liberia. I mean, when it pains you to think that we can see the assets we have. But then on the one hand, you see people who are unable to connect them. It's not quick. You can't throw a plan in place and say, oh, tomorrow everything will change. No. Any rational, experienced person knows that you first have to arrest the situation, get a very good understanding of where things are. Then you put in a meaningful, sustainable, long-term development plan. That plan cannot be 1-2 years. It has to be long-term. And then you measure it and calibrate and adjust. Every 6 months, every year, you measure, calibrate, and adjust as you go on. Then you check your indicators to see, are we moving in the right direction? What are the things we need to change? But that thing requires a vision and the political will to execute the vision. The issues are all around us. We can see the problem. You're talking about where you can get money from for revenue. You're putting taxes on fuel. What happens when you put tax on fuel? It's the easiest way to get more money for revenue. But guess what? The price will get passed on to the consumer. They're already struggling. So, I mean, the transportation price will go up. The driver not going to go pay for more fuel and then not charge you the people who you carry around. How many people in Liberia get car? The people who got car got government fuel. So if you think about it in those terms, where else can we find money? There's a lot of stuff we have raw material. Don't look at it like you go in the bush today, you cut wood, and then tomorrow you start making money. No. Put in place a long-term plan. We got housing deficit. Where are the places that we can start? We got wood. We got good soil for growing, for growing and promoting agriculture. Where are the places we got ecotourism all around the world? We got great falls, we got great lakes, and whatever. Put in place a sustainable plan, and that'll be part of your extensive long-term development plan. It's not gonna be, you can't be looking for short-term money to cover deficit, and then you strangulate the people because you need to cover deficit so some people can ride private jet or to go for a conference. That myopic thinking is not the way to develop a country. Anybody who knows anything about arresting or resuscitating a trouble project or program knows that the first thing you have a thorough assessment of where things are, then you begin to put in place the corrective actions that will give you the correct result over the program period, the performance period. So it's not, if you don't know it or you don't have the political will, then that's a problem. But if you have the political will and you know it, you can do it. Liberia is not too big. The problem is there, but also the solution is all around us. It just requires the political will and the vision.
And again, folks, if you're just joining us, this is Ashford Garley Live. We ask the questions, and of course, our guests will respond. This is not one of the shows where we do all the talking. Okay, we ask the tough questions, and of course, the guests will respond, and that's one of the reasons why we have them as guests. All right. Now, speaking of answering the questions, I believe we want to go back to the telephone line, and the last 4 digits of your number, 6267. Tell us your name.
Hey, how you doing? Where we calling from? It's Atlanta King.
Is the area? Is it 508?
Yeah, 508 755 6267.
Okay, go ahead and speak. You are next in line. Go ahead.
Who's next in line?
6267. The last 4 digits of your number, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and speak, sir.
All right, thank you for having me. So I just want to ask the guest in studio a very simple question. Here in the United States, after elections are conducted and somebody becomes president, the loser or the winner, the party standard bearer becomes very insignificant. You are not called a party leader. The people who are called party leaders are the party executives, especially the chairman. Now, Alexander Kume is not the chairman of the ANC. I don't know when he became chairman of the ANC. Why is he passing around calling himself leader of the ANC? And even the CPP agreement that he signed is listed there as leader of the ANC. How did he become leader of the ANC? He was a standard bearer, yes, I agree. But he lost massively in the 2017 election. So he should step down and the party chairman should take over. But Alexander Kume continued to parade the Liberian political corridor as leader of the ANC. What made him leader of the ANC? Because he's spending his own money from a pocket, so that makes him a leader. Why is he hijacking the party? I say he's hijacking the party. Why are you guys sitting there and allowing Alexander Kume to hijack this party? Why? Because he's not the chairman of the party. He's a former standard bearer who lost miserably. So he should step aside, and you guys should start preparing and calling him chairman, a leader of the political party. Why are you guys calling him chairman of the political party? When did he become chairman of the political party? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have our 770 number. The last 4 digits 2264. Tell us your name and where do you join us from tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Garley, thanks for bringing me on this Atlanta King and joining you from Minnesota.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on. I want to say good evening to Mr. PASSAWE. I always like to see him on, but I heard him say something about Liberia don't want to be rich. I think that's that mindset that got our country backwards today. But if you go to Nigeria, everybody want to be rich. So we have to pick up that new mindset. You understand me? And I think for me, Ellen was the last tourist that ever became president in that country. You know, Mr. Cummings don't live in that country. You know, I understand his plans and everything, but he don't live in that country. He goes to that country as a tourist. You know, the people don't know him. And, you know, all this stuff, I see them fighting. I know as a Rastafarian, I know that time will tell. Come 2023, that whole CPP or CPP or whatever it is going to be divided. and the president is going to go for a second term to complete whatever he was put there to do. You understand me? And I just want to tell the opposition that we think we can build Liberia by being political. We are jiving. You understand me? It breaks my heart when I see educated people, intelligent people with all the resources that's supposed to help the government to develop the country that been abused for almost close to 200 years since the country existed. It breaks my heart for us to make it political. People have resources and they refuse to help the country, and they think they're doing it to the president or the present government, but they are doing it to the unborn generation to come. And I hear people talk about Mr. Cummings. Some of us who travel, I travel all over Africa before I came. I used to go to Nigeria on Papa. Now one day I even understand in a year, but I never heard about Cummings. We all used to go to Victoria Island.
Thank you.
To the embassy all over. I never heard one name Cummings. It's only during George Weah time before I hear this name.
Thank you, Mr. King.
The Liberian people are not going to go for tourists. Ellen was the last tourist. You understand me? So you have to be there. You have to live for the people for you to get their vote. And I think the president is going to go for second term. Thanks for bringing me on.
Okay. That was Mr. From Minnesota. And folks, just before you respond, Mr. PASSAWE, today concludes politics. Tomorrow we will do something called Club Quarantine, and Saturday Club Quarantine as well. We'll have one of the best DJs in the world to provide entertainment for our friends, relatives, and loved ones on Bridge Radio Africa. Honorable PASSAWE.
Thank you, Ashford. The first gentleman had a very interesting point of view. He said Mr. Cummings is not a political leader and he shouldn't be calling himself political. I don't know what his disposition is, why he reaches that conclusion, because I mean, unless he's saying something that's wrong with the political with the bylaws of the party, or he thinks that the party made a mistake and we need to correct. I don't know how to even respond to that, but I would just tell him that we're not calling him what he's not, and we don't think there's any need to correct anything there. The other gentleman talk about Liberians. We say Liberians don't want to be rich, and that's a problem. No, Liberians, the average Liberian will tell you they're not aspiring to be millionaires. That's a fact. The average Liberian wants a basic. Yes, there will be people who want to aspire for greater assets or more. That's natural. But my point of that statement is not that Liberian people just settle with mediocrity. No. The person you're talking about, the average person, barely has food to eat today. They don't have a good place to stay. The children are in school. Now, you're going to tell that person, say, you have an aspiration to become a millionaire, to be very wealthy. You really think that's something realistic that person will focus on when they're looking for food for the family? So that's not a debatable point in my view. I think the average person will tell you what their interest is. And then the last thing he said was, Mr. Cummings is a tourist. He doesn't live in Liberia. When someone says something like that, there are only two things I can say. You either don't understand, you don't have all your facts, or you have a point of view you want to promote. Because if you had done your research, you will know that Mr. Cummings never stopped being engaged in Liberia even when he was abroad. Secondly, he has millions of dollars worth of investment in Liberia. Let's start with that. So I don't know when people say that, whether they don't know or maybe they have a slang. Some of the questions you can get the impression that there's a leaning, but that's okay. The point is, no, he's not a tourist. He's invested significantly. He has invested significantly in Liberia, and he's never left Liberia. He's been abroad working, but he has assets and a home in Liberia. He's been in and out. So many of us here in the U.S., I have employees back in Liberia. I'm in Liberia twice a year at the minimum. So you will say, oh, I'm a tourist. I got house, I got business, I got property there. I got people work for me. So you would tell and say, oh, Mr. Pastor doesn't live here because he doesn't stay here all months in a year. So that means that he's a tourist. I don't know if you would say that. Those people will not listen to you. So that's how we answer that.
Okay, we'll go back to the telephone line, and this time we have Duke on the line from North Carolina. Duke, if you're listening, you're live on the radio. And I believe Mr. PASSAWE is listening to you, Duke.
Hey, Ashford, thank you. Chairman, thanks for, being on the show tonight. I think you've done a great job. I like the response, that you're giving to the question. And so we applaud you for that. Ashford, I had a comment. And look, I think we should be at this point in Liberia and wherein we are more frustrated at the way government is actually running in that country than calling on shows and attacking people who are doing everything, to change the country. The gentleman before mentioned about Mr. Cummings being, a tourist in that country. Mr. Cummings actually lives on Liberia, right? He has been there, I believe, since 2016, I believe. But he stays in the country. And he has been, what people forget is that after the election, he was possibly the only political leader in that country who was taking on issues. This was a man that went from counties and told his people, thank you. This was also the man who went into Lopar County at the largest referral hospital there and paid the salaries of employees at that particular hospital, including, putting drugs in the hospital. And he has done a lot of things to make sure that, he's helping his country. But, I wouldn't go that far. But let me say this, as for our country has been through so much. Liberia has been through so much in terms of bad leadership. What we have in Mr. Cummings is what we have longed for, right, in terms of moving Liberia forward. And that's where we need to start directing our focus and talking about those issues instead of just coming on social media and randomly making accusations that are not true. As for the case of Nimba County, look, Star One Way brings this breath of fresh air. Liberia needs a new generation of young leaders who can change the mindset. Look, 64% of the voting population in Liberia are young people. Those young people have faced some of the harshest economic conditions, even in Nimba County. And it's because of the strength of God's base that he's going to be successful in Nimba. So the whole politics of either Gunglo and, what the ANC needs to do, as the chairman rightfully said, God is the person who will represent the CPP. And we will do everything to make sure we're focusing on substance and the message. But overall, as for I know other people have to come on, Chairman, I just want to say thank you so much for being here tonight. And
thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
Showing us how to engage, our people when it comes to these, tough questions. And I just want to say hats off to you. Thank you, Ashford, and I appreciate your platform as well.
Thank you. That was the voice of Duke. We want to go back to the line. We have 609 is the area code. The last 4 digits of your number, 0451. Tell us the name.
Hello.
Hello, you're live on the radio. 0451. You're live on the radio. Tell us your name.
Thank you, Mr. Ashford. My name is James Kokwe. I'm calling you from New Jersey.
Okay, go ahead and make your point and ask a question. The honorable chairman is listening to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your deliberation. I am a member of the ANC, and I want to just inform you that under no circumstance we can trade Mr. Kumi for another person within the ANC. That is just no question about it. But I have a little bit of issue with regard to our candidate in Nimba County. I ran a campaign for the ANC in Nimba County, and I have some connections, though I come from Lofa County, I have some connections in Nimba County. And the purpose of an election is you want to put power a winnable candidate. I'm not saying that our brother, Mr. Wangwe, cannot win an election in Nimba County. But this time around, what we need to do is that the TCP needs to make sure that brings out its best candidate. And in my belief, in my view, as an ANC member, I am telling you, with how much I know Nimba County, I think we will lift our heads together with Liberty Party to take this living. This government.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I see no way for the TPP if we choose Mr. Wangwe. This is my faithful truth. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have 917-379-20 and I'm pretty sure your last 4 digits 7680. Tell us your name.
Hi, Ashford. This is Kotu Jala Balayan
Hey,
from New
Mrs.
York.
Ballinger, welcome to the show. It's been a minute. We stopped seeing you in Club Quarantine. I hope we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, man, it's been a busy time, and been a lot of things, happening. Coronavirus, and
I know.
yeah, like changing schedule that made me not regular with a lot of things.
Okay. Well, the chairman is listening to you. What is your question?
Yeah, okay. So thanks so much for keeping the show on, and thank you for bringing the chairman on for ANC, right? If I'm really right.
That's right. ANC Global.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I listened to his analysis, which was actually well analytically done and well understood. And it takes, somebody who is like has Liberians at heart, or somebody who is understanding to actually understand when a person comes out with his plot. And this is what we have not been happening. We are not been having in actually selecting our leaders. We actually need to have people, coming out, representing political parties like he's doing, for to be able to understand the plot of the party. But it's so unfortunate. I hear people making comments. It's like it's a crime for people to leave Liberia and come in the diaspora to get outside experience to go back to Liberia to serve their people. Why were you called Kuhlman a tourist? They said because he have come in out of Liberia to come and excel to whatever he is. I'm not an ANC member. I'm not a part of a political party right now. But that doesn't make anybody to be a tourist. The person who is speaking right there, he's from Minnesota. They said because he's in Minnesota and not in Liberia now, it means he's a tourist. And we need to stop these kind of things. This is what bringing so much division into our country. And it makes us that we miss the mark of the right leader for Liberia. What we should be focusing on is what that output from the person. And if the person is a born Liberian and comes to contribute to the Liberians, we should be looking at that critically than to tell a Liberian that the person is a tourist. It's so bad.
Thank you.
We should be looking at if he's not qualified to be a president, judging based on his own way, on qualification, but not attacking somebody as being a tourist. But I think that now let's look at the candidates and hear what the people have to say. Then we make our selection with the leaders. Thank you so much. I understood the plight of the ANC, and I can look at that critically and also look at other political parties' plight and then make my own judgment. I think. Thank you for continuing to bring them so that we can hear their plight, because that's what, for me, I'm interested. I want to know what they can do and their capability, their credibility, and their potential of being a leader. That's how we select a leader. Thank you also for having me on. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. And again, you will say I am an ANC member. You call this man a tourist, but this man has invested into the country, and this man continues to change the lives of people in Liberia, even in the event where he didn't win. His presence is still being felt in Liberia, not only in Montserrat, but in other parts of the country. Sometimes we have to be careful as to what we say. Before we go back to you, Mr. PASSAWE, I'd like to take Miss Yas Sunday. She's on the line right now.
Hello, Brother Ashford.
Welcome to the show, sis.
Thank you so much for having me. Let me first of all say hello to my chairman, my forever capable, able chairman, for appearing tonight. We have to come and support because we believe in him. But let me say this to Liberian people. Years back, after about 400 years or almost 200 years of American independence, or anyone around the world for that matter, we're not ready to have a black president. We just proved that. We elected Obama, and we elected him for the second time. And those who say this cannot be done, you are on Facebook. In 2008, you did not have Facebook. And those who think this cannot be done, you did not have telephone system in the early 1500s or 1800s. You do have that. So one thing that Liberians must learn is open their mind and venture out. I'm looking at Todd, like Bill rightfully said, he brings a new twist to a conversation. He brings his sweat and blood, his credibility to the conversation. ANC is actually leading the way. We are setting the pace and we're leading the way in the sense that we brought conversation to the table that we are not buying pigs in the bag anymore. We're going to conversate, we're going to debate, we're going to tell you what we're going to do. The question now should be, what is the vision of the ANC? How do they intend to implement that? How do and when and why? Okay, those are the questions that we must ask. And so that Mr. Cummings is the most vested Liberian at this point in Liberia with his own hard-earned money. He has an institution, he has a school, the first term school in Liberia, where our children, future leaders have been trained, has been there for over 3 years or 4. He also just gave millions of dollars to build an annex at the Nima Community College that's been elevated to a 4 years college. He did not say, I'm going to take you out of the country and spend $70,000 per person to get a certification. He said, our children can learn here. We invest in Liberia. And we need to specialize them. We take them out of the country. So Mr. Cummings owned one of the tallest, I would say, the Twin Tower of Liberia in Liberia. Millions of dollars worth of investment. And he lives there. Now, those who want to know if Mr. Cummings have not been to Liberia, Mr. Cummings is the one who helped when AIDS were ravaging the continent of Africa with Liberia in mind, came together with a group of corporate leaders to solicit funds to go back to Africa and help our people. He did the same thing for Ebola. When our policymakers were leaving, he came back. But let me say, first of all, to Mr. PASSAWE, who in the last year and a half, he had done a phenomenal job in bringing Liberian diasporan together to build an alliance that will help elevate Liberia. And we just saw during the corona, while we're still debating with our government, those who are talking about the government just stole money or just lying to our people. Mr. Cummings Foundation and the ANC spent over $100,000 to keep Liberians alive. And when our hospitals, some of them were shutting down, he provided and paid nurses and kept the hospital going. He just provided the first Islamic school in Liberia College with generators so they can have electricity. He continued to give to Liberia. But that's not the essence of leadership, let's just say. But leadership is about empathy, patriotism, not about taking it, it's about most of all about service. Mr. PASSAWE, I don't really have anything because I know you personally. I work with you, talk day in, day out. I'm glad that you are here. The doors must be open. We want other political leaders to come on. Like Mr. PASSAWE has set the pace here, so we can ask the necessary question. Folks, let me say this. I have no prior records to taking anything or doing anything. What you can do is asking. And ask our sister Edith. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm going to respect the both of them because the country is a small place. Okay, let's see what the both of them bring to the table. This election should be about character and intelligence and vision. How do we elevate our people? How do we move Liberia forward? How do we move Nima County forward as a one county that will help Liberia and elevate Liberia? This is what this conversation should be about. Now, who is a stranger? I didn't leave Liberia voluntarily. Our force out of Liberia are going to be killed.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you, yeah. And we have 6267. I don't know if this guy called before.
Jaya, is me again, darling. I just wanted to make a follow-up question.
No, you called earlier, man. We got to be fair to other people, man. You know.
I just want to ask a simple follow-up question.
Okay, go ahead.
The honorable guest, please. So what I want to say is that you guys have gone to work and handpicked Taiwan way. What are you guys afraid of? Why don't you allow the political process to go on? let us have a primary so that Mr. Wongwe and Mrs. Gonglo will have that say. Because if you do not allow a primary to go on and you handpick Tai Wongwe and shove it down the throat of the people of Nima County, what you're going to have is you're going to have a blowback. Because you can't write off Edith Gonglo. If you think you can write her off, you're going to be writing her off along of you voting black. And you stand to lose that seat. So why are you guys afraid of? Why can't you allow a primary to take place? Why have you become the new colonial selves? Let a primary take place. Let a democratic process happen. Why are you suffocating democracy? You want to be the next leader of Liberia, and you are suffocating democracy in a simple midterm election? What is wrong with you guys?
Okay.
Let the primary take place. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I think I hosted Todd about a couple of days ago, and he said he's open to a primary, and I still believe that there will be a primary open to all of the candidates, you know, and the fact that I allowed this man, Duke has reappeared, and he wants to say something, and I think we should be fair to do so to him. Hello, Duke.
And let me say this, Todd. These kind of discussions are really easy. Let me just trash the fellows, comment. So you want the democratic process to play. You want us to have a primary. But if we really go to the technicality of things, then Edith Gonglo will not be eligible. Yes, why? Edith's last position she occupied in the county, right, prematurely ended. You know why? Because she was engaged in the corruption scandals. Forms from Nimba County. So if the CPP,
Duke, I want to see the facts. I want to see the facts, Duke. Please provide those facts to me, because I will be hosting Edith Gonglo.
I will send it to you.
I will be hosting her. I want to see the facts, Duke.
Yes. Yeah, I will send it to you. So what her people will not say is that they will not speak on the issues of credibility because they have none. They will not speak on the issues of substance because they don't have any. The only thing they will talk about tribal lines, and they will try to keep Liberia in this repetitive cycle, right, of tribalism. This is what we need to move from. They are afraid of Tai Wongwe because Tai Wongwe presents this fresh idea, this new something that we want to see in Liberia, the newness, right? And so that's the issue. So if we want to talk about allowing the democratic process to play, then let's be transparent throughout the board, and let's go back to why Edith Gonglo ended prematurely her tenure in Nima County, because she was part of an embezzlement, and if she was part of an embezzlement investigation, that does not qualify her to represent the CPP in any election.
Thank you,
Ashford.
Okay, we want to go back to our studio guest now.
I think Duke hit it on the head. I listened to Ya, my sister Ya, and Mrs. Jala. These are very basic questions. And there are people who, many of them got good intention. I always say that up front. They mean well, but they're stuck in the past. They're stuck in the past because their perception, their idea is they have one way of saying things and they lock into that way. And good intention, they mean well. But we are in a new dynamism. We want to be going in a new direction. People argue, oh, Liberia not ready for this, Liberia not ready for that. That's myopic thinking. That's small thinking. Our people bigger and larger than that. They are strangulated because they don't have the freedom of resources and freedom of capacity that they should have. So they tend to be fending to find ways to sustain their family. But you give the Irish Liberian person the opportunity, they will exploit it. They will exploit and become something better. We believe that there's no reason why our people should be subjugated to the remnants of the dustbin of the worst of the world. We think they have a right, especially in a country that's so endowed. You cannot be talking about electorate like you're talking about when my grandfather was running for be town chief, and you can define them based on the clan they're from or based on the particular sector they're from, and then all of a sudden nobody knows you. Who doesn't know Tai in Nima? Who doesn't know Tai? They will tell you they didn't know him because their definition of knowing somebody is to be related or be friendly, or maybe those people who say that It may be defining knowing somebody in a different term. But I can tell you for a fact, Ty has not been sitting down. Ty has been in Nimba County all around. I know Ty very well. I know him good enough to know that he's a formidable force. You know, he's somebody who he's a go-getter. I mean, sometimes I call him Tiger. Sometimes I got to tell him, my man, we got to put you on leash and hold you down because he's a force. And I am sure with a large youthful population, aspiring, educated young people who have been at the bottom for the last couple of decades, I don't think you can hold them back much longer. So I am not wasting time about that issue. Things in the fullness of times, things will sort themselves out. And I can guarantee you one thing, Ty can hold his own. No question there. He can hold his own. And again, I will end by saying this. ANC, every political party has its structure, bylaws, plan, and program. And all political parties are made up of people, and they are made up of Liberian people. So our people, every organization, I was telling someone the other day, every organization, even here in the United States, where you have people, you have unique characteristics, you got people with different ideas, then sometimes there's a little bit of internal squabbling. That's not abnormal. What we do, we operate above board. And that's something we're very proud of. Nobody can tell you ANC Liberia or ANC USA, or ANC Global. Even when we were with ANC USA, when I was chairman of ANC USA, nobody can tell you, this is something you can take to the bank, can tell you that 1 penny of the funds we raised or missing. Nothing. Not only did it not get missing, everybody knows how the money was collected, how the money was spent. We do that because one of the problems in Liberia is corruption. One of the singular problems that dragging us down is corruption. And why is that? Because if you don't let people see what's happening with their money, even if you're not stealing it, you can't blame them for concluding that.
Hold on 1 minute. If you call and don't meet the phone, I will cut you off. And it's just simple as that, okay? Go ahead.
And one of the things that this is so fundamental. Every time I talk to people, I remind them, there's something you want to, the best place to protect is the asset of a village, is in the center of the village. You put it up on a high pole, you put it there. Everybody will see it, nobody will steal it. Transparency. If you want to show who you are, we are not wealthy people. We don't have money, but when we use the people money, people know exactly how the money is spent. That trust, that confidence. ANC, I can tell you, we have a very proud record. ANC Global, even very rigid and strong record. We encourage people. We share the bank statement. We share the report because there's nothing there to hide. We build confidence, trust, and respect by showing you how we use your money. And that way, we believe people will begin to develop the confidence that we need in them. So we are excited about where we are. We are very glad we have the leaders we have in Liberia, and our leaders here, Yah and others, and Ilas and Dave. These are very good, strong leaders, and we're very proud. We think we're heading in the right direction.
Okay, we want to go back to the telephone line. And folks, this is your home. This is British Radio Africa. Just so you know that we are not on the side of any political party. We are straight down the middle. So if you are from the CDC, if you are from the CPP, and we just heard about the Rainbow Alliance parties, just come on home. This is your home. Express yourselves, and we would not be biased. We'll be fair and balanced. So just so you know. I want to go back to the line now. We have this person, your last 4 digits, 2018. Tell us your name.
Yes, Mr. Garley, this is Caleb Gonglo once again.
2018 is 2018.
No, it's 2018, not Gonglo. 2018, please.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. There's Arizona Total from Minnesota.
They're going to have trouble.
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
I listened to Mr. PASSAWE. You asking your very good questions, and these are some of those things that the people have problem with ANC. You ask things among the full political parties with the full, Senate barrel. Why do you think that Alexander Comey is the best candidate? That Mr. PASSAWE can answer it in your way that people will understand. But he addressed giving Alexander Comey profile, how he well with Coca-Cola and all those things. He's forgetting to know to measure Amy Joseph Walker. He's forgetting to know to measure Bernard Ure and Senator Lawrence. So another person talk about Tower One Way in Nima County and Gongo. And he start laying on Tower One Way profile. In fact, Tower One Way have been working. So are you telling Mr. PASSAWE that Mr. Comey is not going on the CPB ticket as a Senate bearer and to represent on the presidential ticket? It means that ANC will go as independent candidate. Mr. Tower One Way is not going on the CPB ticket. So it means that Tower One Way will go as independent candidate. That's why he's trying to say, Mr. PASSAWE.
I don't know how.
Let's do the last two callers, then you can come in and respond. Gonglo has been very persistent, and let's see what he has to say. Gonglo, you're live on the radio.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Garley, thank you. I just want to make a quick clarification. I spoke earlier, but Mr. Duke came by and gave a misleading information about Mrs. Ware, Edith Gongo Ware. In 2011, specifically in July, President Sirleaf relieved her of her position, not because of any corruption allegation. It was the president's philosophy that if you are working in an appointed position in your government and you want to contest, you must resign from her government. And that letter that she wrote, relieving of her position, was very clear. It's on record that I'm relieving you so you can have the time to pursue your political options, your political career. And she thanked her for her services to the people of Nimba. Duke is manufacturing. And I just want to caution Mr. Garley, your show is becoming very attractive to many of us. You should watch out for callers who will come and decide to give misleading. On different
but listen, Mr. Gonglo, Mr. Gonglo.
Can I give you that information here?
Mr.
I don't
Gonglo,
have the facts.
Mr.
People
Gonglo,
write on different social media.
Mr. Gonglo,
it's a gay, it's a homosexual.
Mr. Gonglo, you see, now I'm going to cut you off because this platform does not condone that nonsense where you come and call people out of their name without facts. Okay, you said Duke lied. Duke doesn't have the fight, and Duke has assured me that he is going to provide information as to what Edith Gonglo did. But for you to come here and attack somebody personally, I don't condone that on this platform. You can say that somewhere else. And if you continue to do that, I will block you from this platform. I don't like that. I don't like that to come in and attack people and go personal to them. Don't do that on this platform. 763, the last four digits are 1570. Tell us your name.
The Giants, this is Renshi Labna, calling from Japan.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead. It's a 763 number, though. Are you calling for Japan, you show? It shows up Minnesota number.
It's a U.S. number I'm calling.
Oh, so you're roaming. Okay, go ahead. Make your point. That the chairman is listening.
Yes, thanks for your guest. I just want to ask one question. Before the question, I strongly in coherence with Steve voted on ANC. We all support ANC. But why can't the ANC allow a primary and then coming up to tarnish another political leader or somebody who is aspiring for the candidacy of Nimba is that something that and we don't have to condone on the show. Some of us watch the show, and if you have allegations against somebody, you have to provide the facts. So for the CPP to work, we have to allow the people of member, to tell who is corrupt, to tell who, is better off to represent them. So I just want to ask that question: why don't they, since they are part of a CPP, why don't they allow the political will to play, to do a primary that is fair enough to everybody? That's my question.
Thank you. And again, I'm told there will be a primary. I don't know where you guys keep coming from with this. And again, I don't have control over what you write, but you can't call this platform and go personal on people. We don't condone that on this platform. You can do that somewhere else, but not on Bridge Radio Africa. We'll take the last call, and then the chairman will conclude. The last 4 digits of your number, 0529. Tell us your name.
Hey, Mr. Garley, what's up? This is Godfrey. How you doing?
Godfrey, welcome to the show. Go ahead and ask your question.
Now I'm convinced the CPP will now hold. And then, Chairman, I'm very disappointed in you for you to come out and say Duke nailed it on the head. You guys are in a collaboration. Then one of your officials come out and take that denigrating allegation towards your fellow CCP party. Then you said the man nailed it on the head. Then when Costa start tomorrow to attack you again, the other you start going wild. And how you get started? So you're not started again, you're not started QC, Mrs. Gonglo, I don't know what her name is, for some allegation again. For that to work together, you put yourself together, you attack the CDC, CDC are strategizing, then you set it down on the internet, attacking each other. What sense does it make? Grown people like you, and you guys are party official, not the ordinary people. The men are calling down that he's the ordinary man, he's not any party official. But you are a party official. Duke is a party official. You guys calling and attacking the Liberty Party. Then when the Liberty Party responds tomorrow again, then everything blew up again. Then everybody start confusion again.
Thank you.
What you're doing is not good. If you have anything, you're you have discussed it among yourself. Don't wash your dirty clothes outside. This is election time. Be wise, man. You're acting like a kid. Come on now.
And thank you. And again, that's why we asked the question earlier, whether the CPP will hold. And with that said, folks, that does it for the call-ins tonight. We'll go back to the honorable chairman to just questions and give us a parting comment.
Yeah, let me correct the last caller, Godfrey. I did not say that what I said. Duke hit it on the head in regards to the issue of what the party is focusing on, Mr. Cummins, and what we're trying to do. I did not say I agree with his characterization of how Ms. Ide Gonglo left her position. I don't know that fact. I cannot speak to that. I was referring to his overall comment about the party and the political leader. So let's be clear about that. I don't personalize my responses or my comments. I don't engage in personal insult. That's below my dignity, because it doesn't take me anywhere. It doesn't buy anything. It's an exercise in futility. You can make yourself look like tough guy, tough girl, and you think you're being hip. And you go around the internet and do all kinds of crap. I got too many things that I think are more important to share with people than to try to get in the mud. I don't do that. The issue of so the first gentleman asked if Mr. Cummins does not when he support the CPP. Of course, that is without question. And this whole idea that all of a sudden people want to define what the CPP should do. The CPP has a framework that was negotiated with the parties over many months, and that's the operating tool, the operating document. So I'm confident that they will stick to it, and that will be the guiding principle, will provide the direction for the party as we move forward. Why no primary? That again, we talk about that. The whole idea is let's let the framework work. There's a document. The document lays out the steps, the processes, and the responsibility, and I think it's important to let that be the case. There's a lot of passion understandably, there's a lot of passion. Anybody who has an interest in wanting to see Liberia improve will have passion. Now, some people show their passion openly. They're more assertive, they're loud, they're aggressive. Some people are more measured, and they have a demeanor that maybe you say they're not too tough. But that's being tough doesn't mean you're smarter. There's no correlation. You can come across like a tough guy, tough girl, and when you finish with what you want to say, people walk away and not be bothered. We think if we speak to you, we make the case and explain, make a rational, logical case. A reasonable person will listen, and we can sell the idea faster or better than trying to go out there and then insult. We don't control all the things everybody does. We don't pretend to be able to have the best record in all respects, but we continue to try to be better with respect and dignity for everyone. Nobody pretends that we will automatically get anything. Nothing comes for free. You have to convince people, you have to sell your ideas, you have to win people over. And it would take work, commitment, and determination. If you can't do a good case, people will not buy your idea. If you sell it, people have seen enough strong men, strong women, they're tired with that. It makes sense. Let people understand passion without reason, without logic, is an exercise that doesn't give you very far. So we will hope.
Mr. Chairman, just before you conclude, this caller has been on hold for almost 10 minutes, and I think I'll be doing him or her injustice if I don't allow them to speak. It's the last four digits 7688, and just before you come on, that concludes politics for this week. Tomorrow night is Club Quarantine, and then Saturday as well. But Monday we'll play host to a gentleman called Alice Jones. He's into finance and banking, and he will be our special guest on Monday. Tuesday we'll play host to Mr. Dona. He wants to be chairman of the Unity Party. So those are the first two people play host to on Monday and Tuesday on Bridge Radio Africa. With that said, we'll go to the line now. 7688.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry for coming back again. Something I really want to all Liberian people to understand, and I just want to make that point clear. I listened to a guy that said that the chairman is not promoting the other candidates. Why are they asking the question as to why Kuben is the right person and then he did not promote the other candidates? What I think they're not understanding is that the chairman is representing ANC. And ANC, Kuben is the chairman, and he is represented by the ANC. And then who you think will he be promoting? He will definitely have to promote his candidate that he's breaking for. We see that when Josh Lobo comes, Josh Lobo promotes the former VP. And like that, they are all part of the CPP, but they have their direct candidates that they are putting forth. So we should try to understand it that way. If a person comes from the CDC, who they will be promoting is open. So just let us understand. People will listen. I mean, they were here, but they were not listening. Because I was here listening to what the chairman is saying, and that person did not understand what the chairman said. He put it clear that Clarence said that all of the candidates were all perfect before he started to promote his candidate. That's his candidate. It left with you who have your candidate to promote your candidate. That's what politics is all about. So I want to say thank you for having me on again to make some clarity to that person who did not understand what the chairman said.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, again, you can make your statement, conclude your statement, and then you can your public comment, but man, as always, this is your home, and you're free at any time. But we're not in the pockets of any political party. But at the end of the day, this is self-funded, and then they can put a fire. We accept donations. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ashford. It's always a pleasure visiting with you and your audience. I think I'm always happy when I have the opportunity to speak to my brothers and sisters. And there are a lot of, again, I restate this, there's a lot of passion because people are tired with what they see in Liberia. There's a lot of frustration about why can't we do better? You know, that ringing call that we're smarter than that. We're not dumb. We see the other people around the world doing it. Why can't we do it? We have this perennial problem. If everybody forgets that rain season comes every 6 months, after sunshine 6 months, the other 6 months rain season. But we will not focus on the things, the government will not focus on the things that will help us transition the rain season. Monrovia is a low-lying city. Everybody who knows anything about layout city, it's simple. You live in Monrovia, you know Monrovia. There are certain areas will be flooded. What are the things when dry season comes? What are the things that we can help our people to live a better quality of life? What are the things we can do as a nation? When I say we know the power rests in the government. Liberia is predominantly controlled by the government apparatus. The single largest employer is the government. The power, the opportunity to make laws, to enforce the government. But there are a lot of things the government can do to help the citizenry, to empower them. They're not difficult. They require vision and a political will. And people always confuse this thing to think that, oh, you're in the opposition, you're supposed to help the government. We have been offering, Mr. Cummings and the opposition, the political party, the CPP, they made some offers or overtures. But there's a difference between saying you want help and somebody really wants you to help. There are two different things. If they don't want you to help, by you saying you want to help and come in, they will not engage you. We are being willing. You can't say you want Ashford to help, but then when Ashford comes, they say, well, Ashford, I just want you to hold the door, open the door, hold it, wait there for me. Well, you're not utilizing Ashford's skills and capability, then you really don't want him to help. You want the aura, the impression that you see calling to help, and it's not helpful. Our people don't need that. People forget this. Somebody talking about you're a tourist, you and this and that. Those are small thinking. The people who build a country, you look at Korea, you look at those countries that were struggling in the 60s. There were people from the diaspora. Right now in Liberia, the single largest pool of infusion of foreign money from Liberians and diaspora, $400 million, I think was 2013, 2014. 400, almost 450, 460 million US dollars came from Liberians outside. The single largest pool of infusion, foreign money into foreign currency into Liberian economy came from Liberians. Those are your brothers and sisters who never turn their back. They know the importance, they need the $550, $75, $100 you send to somebody in Liberia. It goes a long way. So when I hear people say that, I don't spend time trying to think about it because they either don't understand the intricacies or they choose not to want to respect or understand that. And that's okay. But that's not going to drive the direction we go. I don't want my aunt or my brothers and sisters to live this life in perpetuity. I want them to see and pursue an opportunity just like everybody else here who can make their quality of life better for their family. So again, I thank you. I will be willing, and anytime the opportunity avails itself, I will definitely come by and visit you, and definitely we'll be talking again soon.
Okay. Again, on Monday we'll have Mr. Alice Jones. Tuesday we'll have Mr. Donut, who wants to be the chair for the Unity Party. And on Wednesday, Mr. Josh Lobo. On Wednesday, you are exclusively our guest. Mr. Josh Lobo will be in the studios of Bridge Radio Africa. With that said, Honorable Chairman, I want to say a good night to you.
Thank you, Ashford. Good night.
Go back to Information Highway where Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts is standing by to give us her parting comment. Mrs. Roberts. Mrs. Letty Brooks Roberts. I don't know what happened here. Okay, with that said, folks, please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man. Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, and there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from bathing bucket.
Hello. Yeah, you have me.
Don't see that medicine. this has been yours truly, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. The medicine of the microphone, the Ashford the giant, that now you know me. One copy, Garley. Have a good night.